Hello, good morning. We are early or late. It's either early in the morning or late in the witching hour for a lot of witches. And I am just waking up. I'm supposed to be doing this live yesterday, but I got so dang on busy yesterday that I did not have time for this one. Um, Matter of fact, I gotta grab me some stuff here. I'm gonna be multitasking today as I talk about this. And this is a serious one. Okay. This is a serious one. So I was a born again witch when I came about. Okay. An authentic witch who didn't practice my whole life, but I knew that it was something different about me. And the way that you know that is because of, you know, the spirits around you, the energy around you. It's this air of question mark. It's this air of mystery that's typically around witches. It is. And it's one of the first signs that you are a natural born witch. Okay. And, not all witches cast spells, in a sense. Not all of them do. In fact, most of my life, I got what I wanted and needed. I had a somewhat normal love life, sex life, children, all of those things I got. All of those things just came naturally to me. The ability to survive, the ability to do everything. And so my witchy calling came to me actually in my 30s, and here we are today. Um, and the type of work that I offer, it is very practical. Most people on this earth, they want a family, they want stability, they want security, they want good health, they want, you know, no stress in their life, and they want to be able to manifest the things that they want. Okay. And all of my clients, like, I couldn't have asked for better clients because, I guess people attract who they are, or they attract certain types to them. Okay. And I've had my clients mention some things to me that are a little unorthodox. I have had them do that. But for the most part, my clients, they just want to survive on this planet, in which there's certain realms that have made it kind of difficult for people to survive on this planet. And so I came about, and started my company, and decided to do work for people. Okay. Um, and I have noticed something. Hey, Jen. Hello. Hey, Ziana. I have noticed something. I have noticed scam artists using witchcraft, in the name of witchcraft, using it to take advantage of mentally impaired people. And I've got to talk about this because, it has led to people having these belief systems, or having a belief that a witch can do something that she cannot do. And I'm not going to call any of these scam artists out. I'm not. I'm not going to call them out, but I am going to mention some of the things that they have promised that they can do that they can't. Okay. And a person can be mentally impaired. Let me give you some examples. A person can be mentally impaired if they are grieving. A person can become mentally impaired if they are feeling as though they can control someone. See, that's a mental impairment as well. But then again, there can be some people that are mentally impaired in a sense to where they are jealous, they are distraught, they are possibly mentally challenged in a sense to where they may be a little off in the head. Okay. They may be a little off, right? They may be. And I've noticed that there are some people on here that will claim that, for example, that they can make somebody move to another state, that they're going to cause a person that has relocated their entire life to another state, and they're going to make them go back. I've seen them do that. And I've seen them pull money from people, pull money and resources from these people when they have never had that ability to do that, and they never will. Okay. And so I have seen them make promises to people that they cannot keep. And doing it for years and years and years. Now, clearly, if somebody is obsessed, they need help. They need to be able to go to a witch who is going to be responsible. They need for that person to tell them, hey, listen, you're obsessed with this person, and I'm not going to be involved. No, instead, we have people out here claiming they don't claim to be a witch, but that they practice witchcraft or hoodoo. They don't claim necessarily to be a witch, because in order to be a witch, you have to be a wise woman. You have to be smart. You have to be wise. No, these women will claim that they can magically move a person from one place to another, is one of their promises. And another promise that they have made to mentally impaired people is that they can stop someone from getting pregnant. They're going to stop someone from getting pregnant. They're going to mess up somebody's womb. What this has done, okay, what this has done. Oh, let me tell you the third thing. They will claim to a mentally impaired person that they can stop a man from seeing a woman who stalked her for 4 years. If a man stalks a woman for 4 years, 4 years, right? I'm talking about 4 years straight. And this woman decides to give him a chance, because this goes beyond 50 Shades of Grey, Christian Grey. Okay. Like Christian Grey, I think he only stalked what was her name? Anastasia. He only stalked her for maybe a couple of weeks. No, I'm talking about 4 years. I'm talking about staying focused on this person for 4 years. And this person has this person in the palm of her hand, literally. I'm not going to promise a mentally impaired person that I'm going to be able to break that man away from that woman. Because if he stalked her for 4 years, he already hooked. I'm not going to promise a mentally impaired person that I can kill a witch, that I can kill another person. I'm going to kill them. I'm not going to promise somebody that, but there are scam artists on here that have taken advantage of mentally impaired people, people that were distraught, people that were obsessive compulsive, people that were obsessed, people that were mentally ill. They have convinced said person that they can do these things. And then here we are several years later, and none of what they have tried to manifest has manifested. Oh, here's another one. I'm going to mess up a woman's womb, a witch's womb. I'm going to mess up her womb, and I'm going to make her get evicted. Or I'm going to make her homeless. I'm going to cause her to be homeless. I'm going to make this promise to do this. Okay. That is a scam artist. Okay. Nobody can do those things. In fact, it's not even considered to be, it's not authentic work, because what these scam artists did was, instead of them being able to do it authentically and to do authentic work, what they resorted to doing was just turning on their YouTube cameras and lying to the air, lying to spirit, and just telling lies, making up lies. I guess the way that they were supposed to get said person evicted and make them homeless was by making people believe lies about them, so that a person wouldn't come to them for spiritual work. And that's how they were going to accomplish that. Hey, SC, they were going to accomplish making somebody homeless, forcing them to do something by coming online and telling lies about them. And this was going to make it happen, because it was going to somehow convince everybody of a lie, and which would lead to failure in that person's life. That is a scam artist. That's somebody that is scamming someone that is mentally impaired. First of all, think about it. If somebody was to come out and lie about, let's go through every scenario. Okay, let's go through every single scenario that I have personally seen people trying to manifest, or people thinking or promising to manifest for mentally impaired people. Okay, let's start with the latter. Okay, they're going to go out and tell a bunch of lies, and everybody's going to believe these fantastic lies about a person. And it's going to lead to failure, and it's going to lead to them being evicted or put out of their house. Right? So that the mentally ill person can be satisfied with a woman and children being homeless. How many of y'all actually believe that that would actually ever happen? How many of y'all? How many of y'all believe that? Nobody believes that. Why? Because a witch can not only reverse those lies, a witch can also curse a person that's lying on them. And also another thing, our spirits are the ones that provide um, for us. Okay. So if unless a witch is depressed or down and out and just doesn't like to have a warm place to sleep at night, then I guess going around the internet spreading rumors and lies about them, I guess that would work. Let's talk about cursing the womb. Okay, there's been scam artists on here claiming that they could curse someone's womb. If someone was to put a curse on a person's womb, all they would have to do is reverse it. Just like all you have to do is reverse it. Because what's crazy is that, I spoke about being pregnant, and a mentally impaired person who had obviously talked to one of these scam artists on here sent me a text message, okay, and stated, them southern witches cursed your womb. As if there's a difference between a southern witch or a northern witch. Is there a difference between a southern witch and an eastern witch? Oh, I guess them southern witches, I guess they just can't mess with them witches of the west, huh? I guess the witches of the west, or that they just ain't messing with them southern witches. It's them southern witches that can curse the womb. And they have been promising these things to mentally impaired people. Now, you're already mentally impaired if you are a woman that chases and stalks another woman for I don't care how many years, months. During that time, you're suffering from a mental impairment during that time. So you're already mentally ill to chase a woman around trying to control her womb. It's already something wrong with you, something terribly wrong with you, and you need help. You need help that goes beyond, well, I don't want to say that goes beyond witchcraft, because if you were to go to a witch, she could absolutely help you. But they're going to these witches, they're going to these fake witches who are making promises to them that they cannot keep. Is what they're doing. And this has got to stop. If a witch has promised you that they're going to be able to curse my womb, they lied to you to get your money. They scammed you to get your money, hon. And you know what? Prior to the lie, you should have went and got some mental help anyway. Because I don't know who would just randomly decide, I want to make sure this was the whole consensus about it. A mentally ill person with no reason to even come after this person was coming after this person and just wanted to take everything from their life. Just wanted, don't want the woman to have no happiness, don't want the woman to have no children, lying on her. What makes you think that you can do that? And see, spiritualists, actual, real, authentic witches have got to be careful to not listen to the lies of some of these people that are mentally ill. I know for a fact that we have scam witches on here, but not only that, we have scam clients. You know, some of the clients can be not necessarily scam artists, but some of the clients can either believe something that isn't the truth, or some of the clients can um, they can make up lies about people to get people to come after people. Okay. So obviously, if you have not been able to discern the truth in almost 10 years, then we can't trust your work. We can't trust what you're doing here. Okay. Here's the other one. You're going to force somebody to live up in a place that they don't want to live in. You're going to force them. You're going to put a noose around their neck and you're going to force them to live in a different state, one of which they don't want to live in. That's what you're going to do. No, you're not going to be able to do that. And you know what? I am sick and tired of people taking my craft, people taking witchcraft and doing this. You know what? In witchcraft, I mean, we can do a lot. The sky is the limit. But there are certain things that you can't touch and that you shouldn't even be trying to touch. Now, I'm not standing in judgment of the witches that I've seen on YouTube that have done miscarriage spells, miscarriage curses. I wouldn't do those things personally. I wouldn't do that. Okay. But you as a witch or as a practitioner can decide to do what you want to do, because I believe that those spells can and will work. I just don't personally do them. You know why? Because I believe in God. Okay. I believe there's certain stuff that you can do that can bring you, it can make your situation worse. And I think that it can cause for you to have negative karma. And so as a woman, I would never curse a woman's womb like that. Okay. Never. I just wouldn't do it. Okay. I'm not judging anybody that does. But if somebody cursed another person's womb, I'm pretty sure that that person would, I don't know, be able to reverse it. And then also, what are you cursing their womb for? What are you doing that for? What is the purpose? See, this is the reason why a lot of these people, their stuff don't work. You're just placating a mentally ill person that actually needs to go and get some therapy. That's what they need to do. Because there's some people that witches can't help. I am a firm believer of that. Or I feel that if I do help that person, I feel that they should be getting some medical treatment as well. I will help people that are getting either medical treatment for their mental or their physical. And then I can do, because even, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that sometimes there are certain things that a therapist would need to look into. And I'm not a therapist. I am not a medical doctor. Okay. So I don't make that claim, even though I've cured, I've healed. I don't make a claim that I'm a doctor. Okay. I don't make a claim that I am a physician or a mental health technician or a psychiatrist. No, I am not. But there are clearly some people that need psychiatric care. Okay. You can't deny that any longer. Now, if you were to walk up to somebody and hold a gun to their head, or take a 2x4 and start swatting that person with it, or if you were to take a strap and start hitting a person with that belt, and they were to react either violently, if they were to break down in tears, or if they were to do everything they can to stop you from doing harm to them, does that make that person mentally ill? No. So we have a lot of people that think, and they actually think this, they actually think that if they were to attack a person and the person were to defend themselves, that that makes them mentally ill. Oh, I'm making this person look mentally ill. But we can all see that you did something purposely to upset that person. So that person got upset. That person reacted, which would be normal, which would be more normal than a person that doesn't react. And I'm talking about threats to their children, threatening bodily harm, lying on them. Okay. So these smart scam artists, they're very smart, right? They're the most intelligent people in the world. They think that they can make somebody look crazy by threatening their children, threatening their life. And oh, I threatened you. I did something to upset you. And now that you're upset, oh God, you're mentally ill. So they can instead make people look crazy. Oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to tell a bunch of lies on you. And then when you do it back to me, you see what I'm saying? Because the best defense against a narcissist is to hold a mirror up to them. Do exactly to them what they did to you. And trust me, you'll make them squirm for some reason. Okay. So everybody has the right to defend themselves. Everybody has the right to, to their emotions. If you threaten a woman's children, she's going to be emotional. But no, the smart scam artists are making people look crazy. Oh, my spells are working on you because you were upset about a fraud scam that I did. So they're out here committing fraud. They're out here literally scamming the public. They're trying to put the claim of witchcraft on it. And you know what? I'm irritated with it. Because I take my craft seriously. Okay. I feel that these people will get their karma. Okay. Because I have had a lot of clients, y'all. I have had a lot of spiritual clients, a lot of them. They've either gotten cleanses, hex removers, reversals, they've gotten love work, they've gotten money work, they've gotten fertility work. They have had road openers, crown of success rituals. These are the types of things that we do as witches. We've advised clients of certain herbs that they can get, certain herb mixtures that they can get, to heal themselves of certain conditions. That's what we do. Do we chase and stalk women around for 10 years, stalking them, claiming that we are manifesting magic in them by stalking them? No. You know what? Stalking, it would hurt anybody. Stalking is horrific. Okay. Stalking is horrible. Smear campaigns are horrible. Can an authentic witch help you with that if somebody's doing that to you? Absolutely. I've even had it done to me. And guess what? It made no difference. Still successful. I've had people say awful things about me. I've had people do awful things to me. Did it have any impact? No, it didn't. It didn't have any impact. And when they saw that they didn't have an impact, they lied. Now that's when you become very in deep. You're in too deep with your treachery. And that's when it's time to say, okay, it's time for me to get up out of this. It's time for me to stop. It's time for me to not try to come against this person again. But then, because they say that insanity is catching. So after a while, after several years of dealing with mentally incompetent or mentally challenged people, all of a sudden the scam artists that they've started to lose their mind. Because insanity is catching. Why? Because a lot of the times, you're dealing with parasitic energies, you're dealing with spiritual energies. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times. And so if a person is displaying symptoms of mental illness, a person is clearly, obviously mentally ill, they could go the route of banishing those mind parasites and demons. No, instead, they're being encouraged by scam artists to stalk and harass and lie on people instead of getting the help that they need. And this is extremely upsetting to me because witchcraft is my life. Okay. It's my first love. I have a love and respect for the craft and authentic witches of the craft. Okay. And these scam artists, they do the most. They hate authentic witches. It's not because they're jealous of them, they just hate them. Okay. They hate witches. They hate authentic witches. So what they do is they go around pretending to be a witch, which in my opinion is dangerous. That's the wrong cup, y'all. I had some root beer from earlier, but I poured me some ginger ale a few minutes ago and I grabbed the root beer instead. I'm like, why is this not cold? Okay, hold on. So that I believe that eventually a lot of those scam artists are going to be brought to justice because either you are somebody with an intention, and I believe that it is gonna end up being regulated because you're not a witch, you're just taking advantage of mentally incompetent people. And you're making promises to them that you're never going to be able to keep. And you're being very cruel to people that don't deserve it. You are giving my craft as well as witches a bad name. Literally trying to give us a bad name. And nobody respects it. It is turned into a clown show, literally, with these scam artists who have been taking advantage of people. If somebody came up to me and said, I hate this person, and I don't know why, but I hate this person, and I just want to do bad things to them, and I'm jealous of this person. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this person, and I'm mad at this person. Do you think that I am going to take this person in, take their money, and attack them for several years? No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give that person the blessing of truth, which is why they need to look at themselves, look at their roots, look at what they are going to do to themselves if they continue on this plight of self-destruction. And I'm going to tell this person, no, I am not going to go after and attack this person. I am going to suggest that you cleanse yourself. I am going to suggest that you work on yourself, but I am not going to take your money to go after this person on an endless battle of nothingness, destroying people's lives, taking time, taking precious time out of people's lives on this plight of nowhere. I've seen it done, and it's a non-reality. There is a such thing as reality and fiction when it comes to witchcraft. There's a such thing. Just because you do it over and over again does not mean that what you're doing has any power. So they got together a group of people to making it look like you have spells that work is not going to bring clients. I have actually begged people, y'all. I have begged people. I have said, please, certain people that I care about, certain people that I have cared about, I've said, please do not continue to do this. You are going to get negative karma. Something bad is going to happen. You are putting lies on spirit. You are no different than, and the other day I came and I explained the curse of Cain and Abel, the curse of Cain. I came and explained that to try to use a biblical reference point to make these people understand, to make them understand what you're getting yourself into. Well, unfortunately, since these people really don't believe in the Bible and they don't believe in anything else, they will continue to do the things that they're doing. And they don't realize that the root of the problem is jealousy and hatred. And this is what cursed Cain. So in retrospect, everything that you claim that you can do to somebody else, you're going to do it to yourself. And you're going to be even more mentally impaired because obviously if you stay huddled in a group for several years, almost 10 years, with a person that is possessed and mentally impaired, what do you think is going to happen to you? Do you think good things are going to break brow into your life? Do you think that you're going to feel good about yourself? Do you think that other people are going to feel good about you? No, they're not. Your life is going to be in the toilet if you do those things. And this is the reason why being a high priestess or a mother in the craft is very important. But we have had people that fell off. And the way that they fell off was because they couldn't see past their jealousy of other people. So they began lying. They began lying and bearing false witness in the craft, making promises that they can do things that they cannot do. Unless that person is able to turn themselves into the universe and literally change universal law, it ain't gonna ever happen. And I think that that's really sad. That is when you truly have a delusion of grandeur because you thought you could change fate. You thought you could change a person's destiny? You thought you could control the sky? So instead, when these people realized that they couldn't change anything, they resorted to acting and lying and bearing false witness for spirit. Spirit already told you that I myself was delivered from poverty. Spirit told you that. That is what spirit told you. What is spirit? Spirit is God. They went and lied on spirit. Now, what is that? Isn't that very similar to the curse of Cain? So then they said, we're going to try to embarrass people. We're going to make it happen. We're going to try to embarrass people. We're going to try to lie on people. We're going to do all of this stuff because we're going to manifest spirit delivering you and your family from poverty. What did it do? It made it worse on them. Because, see, there's a lot of you that get lied to. When I tell you that spirit through witchcraft can deliver you from the clutches of poverty, sickness, ignorance, I wasn't lying to you. But then they, the scam artists, who are now seen as jokes, and I didn't want that. I didn't want that, and I didn't need that. I did not need to destroy someone else to come up. That was a lie. I don't need to do that. Most witches don't, but you got people that get on their high horses and act a fool. So when I made the promise to you guys that spirit will deliver you from poverty, it's supposed to. And there was a lot of people that were supposed to be delivered from that. They were supposed to be delivered from that years ago. But because they followed behind the scammers, they're still not delivered. But yet they lie about it. They still have problems. They still have issues because they believe in the lies of the scammer. They believe the scammer when the scammer says that I can change this woman's destiny and fate. And it's not materialism. It's not materialism. They still lie. And they're so jealous and delusional and in an illusion that they have to believe that they did something instead of admitting that they're wrong. Now, you guys know that I have a theory. If y'all have been watching me for years, there's a lot of you been watching me for years. If you guys have been watching me for years, you know that I have a theory that most of the time people can fix their own life just by admitting that they're wrong about something. And it shouldn't even be that difficult to admit that you're wrong, because guess what? As soon as you start to admit that you're wrong, which is the same as repentance, but it's very different, okay, when you're looking at it through the eyes of the craft and witchcraft. But what it does is it unblocks you So when you're admitting that you're wrong about something, and when you can admit that you lied about something, and when you can admit to your faults, then what that does is that opens up many, many doors for you. The universe and spirit starts to listen to you. As long as you are lying, you are trapped in the void. Yeah. When you admit that you're wrong, and you know what? Sometimes lies have a purpose. Sometimes little white lies, they have a purpose. But you never lie about something for an extended amount of time. You never do that. If you're going to lie about something, okay, fine. Maybe you needed to lie to survive. Maybe you needed to tell that lie because, maybe you couldn't handle, the energy that was being thrown at you. Maybe that's why you did it. But then for you to see the light, and ignore the light and say, no, I want to stay in darkness and I want to stay in the void. While existing on this planet, and you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some serious problems. That's just like we have scammers on here that have admitted to trying to steal people's shine, which is AKA, I guess they're going to steal their clients, they're going to steal their money. Imagine how stupid a person would be who would go out there and try to steal something from somebody that was meant for someone else, and you obtained that client, but you wasn't meant to handle that situation. Imagine the problems. See, this is the difference between being authentic and being a fraud. Because you know what? You don't necessarily have to be a born witch. You don't have to call yourself a witch to practice the craft. You really don't. There's a lot of people out there that they won't call themselves a witch, but they practice, which is fine. But for you to go out there and to purposely do a campaign against somebody, you're campaigning against a specific person. You're saying to yourself, the universe has given this person millions of spiritual dollars, and I want to steal that from them. I want to steal that because even though, you know, let's not say millions, let's say trillions, but it gets converted sometimes into healing energy. It gets converted into miracles. It gets converted. Don't necessarily have to be money. And you're chasing that person's power instead of seeing your own. Well, what about what the universe mapped out for you? Have you actually went and found out what spirit had for you instead of you trying to purposely steal from others? And a lot of people don't. And you know what? It's probably because they've been taught the wrong way. I was talking about my Aunt Regina yesterday in that little short live that I did. And my Aunt Regina, I truly believe that God had other plans for her. And that's why she had to leave this earth. She was a very strong force. My Aunt Regina was a Aries. She's a very strong-willed woman. She used to always say, I hate liars and I hate thieves. She hated that. Like, she had a severe problem with that. Liars and thieves. And she still does. Because, even though our ancestors, they move on, they can even be reborn, but the essence of that person that we know still exists. That's why we're able to call to them, even though she could have been reborn across the country. You know, they exist. It's a metaphysical thing. It's a spiritual thing. Okay, to where the person that they were created in this world, we still know them. That's how we're able to still reach them. So that was something that she hated. And I can still call to her, and I don't call to her all the time. But you can call to your ancestors that are like that because they were very strong spirited. A lot of people believe that just because a person dies, that means that they were weak, and that's not true. This is uh, it's one of those things to where you truly have to understand spirit to understand why sometimes God sees fit to take some people off of this earth for whatever reason. Whatever reason God wanted to use her for his or her purpose. Okay. So, because her death was very unexpected. It was very painful, and it was oh God, it was bad. Okay. But anyway, I have seen more mentally impaired people get taken advantage of by people who not only were scam artists, slicksters, okay, but they know how to call certain entities and spirits that can help them with this. And this is one thing that as a spiritualist, I would never do. If I felt that someone needed more than what I could give them at that moment, I'm going to direct them towards that. Okay, I'm not going to tell you that a grist bag is going to help you if you got your eyeball punctured out. I'm going to tell you to go to the emergency room. In other words, no, instead, these people, they'll make a decision and they'll say, well, I don't like Jamila. Let's use myself as an example. I don't like High Priestess Jamila. So I can see that I have the opportunity to use someone that is distraught, that obviously can't handle the situation. Instead of me directing this person towards the right path, I'm going to direct this person to stalk, harass, slander, and debase Jamila because this will make it easier for me to steal her shine, her following, her accolades. Tell me that you were not that stupid, because that's I would think of it. I'm a multiplicity thinking person. You know what I would think if I were a person that were trying to uh, interfere in the lives of others? You know what I would think? I would think, okay, if I'm trying to interfere in Jamila's business, then I'm thinking I'm not only going to be responsible for the mentally ill's life, but then again, I'm going to be responsible for what happens to her children. I'm going to be responsible for what happens to the people around her. I'm going to be responsible for what happens with the clients that may have been convinced of something that they shouldn't have been convinced of. I'm going to be concerned about me being responsible for them being thrown off of their path. I'm going to think, because I think more complicated than other people. So that's why I would never involve myself in that situation. And then the scam artist will say, well, you go do your thing and I'm doing my thing. But the problem is that you're using my name, my image to do this in. I think Jesus feels the same way. Whenever they go out there and they want to commit fraud, they want to commit genocide, they want to do all this stuff, and they'll do it in Jesus' name. And I personally do not feel that Jesus is cool with that. Okay. I don't believe that. And you'll never convince me. Because if I ever was to come to Jesus, it would be with a pure heart. But they do it and they think I'm going to get away with it. So the moral to this story is do not get conned by scam artists. Because I know people personally who are considered to be mentally impaired. Another example of a mental impairment would be somebody that has severe insecurity issues. Severe insecurity issues would mean that, they may be very self-conscious. They can, people are able to make them see things a certain way. If a person is weak-minded, but we got people out there that when they know that they can that they can control you, they will. But they will control you in a negative way. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to grown men, almost 50 years old. I've seen this happen. Grown men that were supposed to be intelligent, allowing people to shame them, create things for them, create horrible realities for them instead of them taking the power into their own hands. I've seen it. So I think that if you are a spiritualist and if you do have the secrets of that craft, I think that you need to use it wisely. And I think that people should use it responsibly, not to create unnecessary chaos in the lives of people. Because at the end of the day, you will lose your power doing things like that. I've seen witches lose their power before because they were being punished. And so in that retrospect is those moments where you have to humble yourself because you're creating this unnecessary chaos. And a lot of them were doing it for petty reasons. Oh, they wanted to prove that they looked better than a person. Oh, I want to prove I look better than her. Oh, I want to prove this, and that. I want to prove that, and that. And the people, spirit is looking like, what in the world? You are trying to destroy the lives of people for glamour and vanity, glamour and vanity that you don't actually have. You don't even actually have that because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I can tell you what's beautiful to me. What's beautiful to me is grace. Grace is beauty. Honesty is beauty. Love is beauty. You trying to pretend and you just gonna convince everybody by using flying monkeys and people actually playing like they're a flying monkey. Also, another thing I've seen people try to do is they've tried to act to prove that another scam artist was more powerful than an actual authentic witch, which is I'm sorry to say it's a scam. So I'm going to try to make it look like you have me under some kind of psychosis. I'm going to make it look like that so that I can make you look more powerful so that you can scam somebody and take their money and essentially make their lives worse. More than likely, make their lives worse. They see no improvement in their lives. They see nothing. Because I'm sorry, if you are supposed to be a witch and And you know what? We all know that, you know, we're not saying that all witches have to go out there and blow marshmallow fluff up everybody's asses constantly 24/7. No, sometimes you got to get dirty. But when you are literally attacking one person, because I've been in that situation, I've been in situations, I'm still in a situation to where I have a group of people that are jealous of me. They claim that I'm ugly. They claim that I'm fat. They claim that I'm old. They claim that I look disgusting, but yet they're still jealous every single day. They go to sleep with the jealousy in their heart. They wake up with the jealousy in their heart. Every day. If I were to come on here and say that I'm with Billy Bob Baker, they would light a candle on Billy Bob Baker, even though Billy Bob Baker doesn't exist. They would still light a candle on Billy Bob Baker. That's a mentally impaired person. That's not an authentic spiritualist. If I were to come on here with anybody, they would get jealous. They got jealous of my cousin that was in the chat room. They got jealous of her. That's a mental illness. And witches are not mentally ill. I mean, we can go through periods of mental illness to where we may be depressed, or we may have anxiety, or we may, you know what I'm saying? We can go through things periodically. I mean, you know, we don't stay in those things long term. Because if you're a witch and you're not taking advantage of them herbs, then, you know, then maybe you need to expand your knowledge of witchery. Because I was having some anxiety a few weeks ago, and I made an anxiety tea, and I ain't had to take it ever since. Okay. So it's something to where, you know, a lot of people, they don't care anyway, because they don't care for witchcraft anyway. This is perfect for, you know, diabolical churches to continue to mind control people. And it also gives the powers that be more power and leniency over people. So I believe that witches like that operate like that, I have an issue with you. Okay. First of all, it's been a fake. Oh, here's another thing Spirit wants me to speak on. The false spiritual war. The false spiritual war that doesn't actually exist between myself and certain witches on here. It's false. It's not even real. They create the spiritual warfare because they want to scam and con people. Pretty much is what they do. I have urged certain people to stay out of it. You can see that they have not done that. And that is probably going to be the best thing for you to do, is to stay out of it. Stay out of things like that. Stay away from things like that. Do not have anything to do with it, because at that point that practitioner was doing that, at that moment that the practitioner was doing that, that practitioner was stuck in a mental prison. Okay. Every day, people have to deny. People have to lie. I don't necessarily feel that we have to lie to mentally impaired people. Okay. But I do believe that what they have used is terrorist tactics, threats, death threats. Okay. When was the last time that you saw a witch, unless the witch had to expose and dox a person that was stalking her, right? If you're a witch and somebody is stalking you, you have every right to dox them, because they are harassing and stalking you. And you can say, hey, I know where you live. I know where you're at. See what I'm saying? But for an authentic witch to just go out there randomly attacking people to prove their power and saying, I am going to give your address to a bunch of trolls to harass you. Well, I wouldn't be afraid of anything that she's able to do. I wouldn't be afraid of nothing that she's able to do. But we got people that they have a different type of tolerance, guys. When I first came on YouTube, they called people to my house over and 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 over again. Okay. Now, as a witch, I knew all of my children were safe. Okay. I knew that they would all be safe. I knew that because I have discernment. Otherwise, if I were not authentic, I would have walked away a long time ago. But since I am authentic and genuine in what I'm doing, you just had to grin and bear it. I had to bear it. I had to weather that storm that I went through for years. And a lot of people, they'll try to play dumb. They'll say, "Oh, well, it's just YouTube," or they'll say, "Oh, this is where a lot of us, are using to advertise our services to people. So it's not just YouTube. But see, that's a form of gaslighting. Okay. That's a form of gaslighting to try to throw you off of your path. They've been trying to do that for years to me. And I'm sorry, it simply just does not work. It's not going to ever work. And I have told these people that it's time for you to stand down, because I can promise you that it's going to happen to them before it happens to me. And I'm not the type of person to feel guilt. I'm not going to feel guilt, when people end up in an insane asylum. I'm not going to feel guilt because of that, because they have done things just to absolutely drive me crazy. And it didn't work. What in the world? What is it? Oh, didn't know that was down in the couch. I just found one of my herbs down in the couch, y'all. I don't know how that happened. So, it's a lot of craziness, a lot of crazy stuff going on, a lot of people acting crazy, and you can tell that they're ready to relent whenever they start talking about the Bible. And it's like, yes, that's what you need. I encourage them to do that. But just don't be trying to use the Bible against me, because after they've tried to practice witchcraft, after they've cursed themselves for years, now they want to grab the Bible. And I think that that's going to be the best thing for them, because clearly they don't have an understanding of what's happening here. Clearly they don't. That's just like with me working with certain entities. They don't understand that. They don't. Okay. And it's something that is beyond their understanding, that of which there is no explanation required on my behalf. Okay. Uh, it's just one of those things to where, if they're going to go back to, Christianity or Catholicism, or, they just need to learn to turn the other cheek. Stop lying. Stop trying to make it seem like you believe that children are in danger as a means to, to try to get into people's lives or to create disruption for them. I've had people that are so low to the flow and to the ground that they have tried to use my child. They've tried to use my child, but in retrospect, all they were doing was causing a disruption in his life, in our lives, just constant causing disruption. You guys know what we do on Halloween. We have treats. I usually have some kind of cookies, cakes, Rice Krispie treats. We have dinner. We have a lot of sweets, and we sit there and we snuggle up and we watch scary movies. And I've had knocks on my door. So in retrospect, it's really just jealousy, because my kids have good lives. Okay, they you know what I'm saying. when I decided to be a parent, I decided I wanted to be the parent that I did have. I remember the good times with my mother before she started having issues. I remember the good times with her. And, we'll continue to have those good times in life. I think that it is important if you have ever dealt with a situation like that, is to stay grounded and stay trustful. That you have to trust your spirits. Untrustworthy people and people that don't have the ability to trust are some of the most dangerous people, because everything is the end of the world for them. Everything is the end of the world for them, to the point where they can be so dangerous to the point where it'll be a small thing that's not that big of a deal, but they'll be ready to end your life or end their lives, okay, over something. And I'm shocked that certain people would involve themselves with certain people that seem to have suicide pacts with other people. Anybody that creates a suicide pact with another person has a lot of issues, that needs help. Okay, that person needs some help. Okay, because the last thing you should be thinking about, what would it be that exists in this world that would require for you to have a suicide pact with somebody? I mean, we've seen all kind of, and ask yourself, what would make you gravitate towards a person that has had a suicide pact with another person before? What would make you gravitate towards a person like that? Somebody come to me talking about we gonna have a suicide pact because so and so said that you was a poopy face. So if so and so happened, we gonna have a suicide pact. I'd look at that person and I'd say, you have lost your mind. You are giving that person way too much power over you, and you need some work done on you. That's what I'm gonna say to that person, because I've seen people give power to people that are powerless, but they'll give power to that person. Why would you give that person that much power? Does that make sense to y'all? I done seen people giving people power that don't deserve it. Why are you giving this person all that power? They don't have the power that you're trying to give to them, but you're giving it to them, right? Well, I don't give nobody my power. I use my power, I utilize my power for my clients, but I don't give nobody my power. I would never give somebody that much power over me. Okay. We got a lot of people that have low self-esteem. They have self-esteem issues. They were raised by people. Honestly, even though I noticed that my parents started to kind of slip after I got older, I don't know if they were pretending. I don't know what they were doing, but I was raised to feel very good about myself. And I would have never, from the stories that I've heard from some of these people, I would have never heard from my grandmother. I had never in my life, a lot of the stuff that I hear these people, the way they've been raised, y'all, I ain't never heard that stuff in my life. And we've seen people that are obviously been raised to feel bad about themselves, towards their own race and things like that. I was actually raised in the complete opposite environment. I was not raised to feel bad about myself as a Black person. So I could understand why somebody being raised that way would create a different experience for them. However, don't pull me into that, and understand that this is something that controls your mind, that you need to start thinking differently, because the way a person is going to change is through the mind. That's how they're going to change. It's through the mind. That's the only way. The mind is the key to that. And it doesn't happen overnight. If you have been a certain way for 30 or even sometimes 20 something years of your life, or 40 something years of your life, and you make the discovery that you have some changes to make, it ain't gonna happen overnight, but it will happen. Okay, it will happen. But these people that pretend that it's gonna happen overnight, I mean, you can make drastic changes overnight. But if you've been in a habit of being a certain way your entire life, it's going to take years of practice and years of spiritual therapy. Because the spirit of ignorance, poverty, and sickness, that's a spirit. And so even after you have gotten rid of the spirit of that stronghold, now you have to retrain your entire self. You have to retrain your entire self. You have to learn to live differently. That's just like if you grew up eating nothing but ramen noodles every night, which I don't, well, I mean, actually, in actuality, over in China, they eat a lot of ramen. They eat a lot of noodles over there, but they also eat a lot of pork. They eat beef. They eat peas and carrots. Okay, eating ramen noodles is not a balanced diet at all. They add stuff to that stuff, okay, to make it healthier, to make it more balanced, okay? But if you are somebody that went from having a poor diet, let's just put it like that, to where you became you went into your adulthood and you started to have a better diet, it's going to take your body and your mind as well as your spirit some time to adjust to eating more uh, nutritionally dense foods. It's going to take a while for that to happen. I mean, hell, imagine growing up in that kind of poverty and sickness, which is the diet, and then you can look at that, but then again, what if it was somebody whose diet was compromised for 6 months? There was a guy that went blind because all he ate was potato chips and McDonald's fries. He went blind. I don't know if y'all heard about that. And it ain't just about nutrition. Sometimes if you feed yourself negativity every single day, that's going to corrupt your system. It's going to corrupt the mind. It's going to corrupt the body. And, if that's all you do, if you never transmute that energy, you're going to eventually end up corrupt. And I believe that negative energy can cause cancer. And see, I can say that I can't speak on the other C word, because another actual medical doctor stated that negative energy and negative situations, if you are in a negative environment your entire life and you're just constantly in negativity, you're constantly thinking negative, yes, that can factually cause health problems. Absolutely. So if they want to flag me and I'll be down for another week or two, then fine. But actual medical doctors have stated this. Heart problems are caused by stress. This is why I don't let nothing stress me. Nothing. I don't let any of it stress me. After a while, you have to be that way because you realize, oh, they trying to stress me out on purpose. Oh, let me choose not to be stressed. And a lot of y'all are going to need that wisdom moving forward. Otherwise, they'll try to upset you every day. Every hour, they'll try to upset you. You know, you just be upset all the time and mad. And you can't be that way. You can't let people upset you. That means that people are puppeteering you, or either they're trying to. And I'm talking about real upset to the point where you punching walls, to the point where you're ready to beat somebody up. You know, you may be kicking your animals and stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't do stuff like that. Don't let people continue to get you that way. And to the point where you get so upset about a little white lie, that because some lies are white lies, and that's okay, because they have a purpose of something, to the point where, you know, you have to go into an entire psychosis. You know, that's just like if High Priestess Jamila makes a pregnancy announcement and you get upset about it. That means that I have power over you. And I don't want that power over you. I don't want a pregnancy announcement to make somebody go crazy. I don't do things to upset people like that. You need to work on yourself. Whenever you get to trying to curse somebody's womb, you want to kill their baby. You need to look at the root of that problem. What is the root of that problem? To where, as Ziana said it, antinatalists, a lot of them are antinatalists. If you hear that a woman is pregnant and it drives you insane to the point where you're ready to kill somebody, then you probably need to be in an asylum. Okay, they do still have asylums, but they call them mental health facilities these days. Okay. Hey, Teron Herring, good morning. They call them mental health facilities these days, which, you know, they are far more humane than what they used to be, because they used to abuse people in those places, which I don't agree with that either. I think if somebody's going to go somewhere to get help, they should actually get the real help that they're looking for. Okay. I respect witchcraft and witches, and some of the things that we're doing is very necessary. That's just like you know, if you have someone that does you wrong and you send that back to them, you have every right. But for some reason, there are people that have no self-love, to where somebody will do something completely atrocious to them, and they don't want that person to suffer, even though that person made them suffer. Because nobody really has the right. I mean, especially if it's a complete random strange person that just has the right to cause suffering in your life. I mean, hell, you'll invite trouble in if you think that way. That means that your self-esteem is low. You feel like you don't have the right to the quiet enjoyment and liberties of life. And why would you believe that ever? Who taught you that? That seemed like you carrying somebody else's guilt, or maybe their energy. You know, and a lot of y'all get that from y'all parents. You know, what everything they had going on. But see, you are free. And see, that's why I always talk to y'all about parents. And some of y'all are willing to turn into your parent, which at that point, you know, I mean, you can take certain parts of your parents, but some of y'all got to break the mold of that. Y'all got to break out of that mold. Because why? Because God said so. God will be more disappointed in you, actually and factually, if you do that. I don't believe that. I don't necessarily believe that you have to follow behind your parents even when they're wrong. Now, sometimes our parents have to do certain things, but some of the stuff that they do makes no sense. So I believe in questioning everything. If I were to encourage my children to do something wrong, I would ask for them to question me. And trust me, I have direct experience at that comes from my past life. However, some things are meant to be, but then some things are meant to be left in the past. And it depends on where you're at. It does. But what you're going through has nothing to do with what I'm going through. And this is what a lot of your so-called enemies don't understand. Because sometimes your enemies don't necessarily see you as a separate person on a separate path than them. They can't separate from you, which is the problem with people staying latched on to you. Okay, people should not necessarily stay latched on to you. Depends on who they are. There are going to be some people that will stay latched on to you, and that is because they're supposed to. But a lot of these people that stay latched onto you, they're not supposed to stay latched onto you. They're supposed to let go. And we can clearly see who should have let go years ago. Mm-hmm. They should let go years ago. All signs are pointing to them needing to let go. And if you don't care about yourself enough to let go, if something is upsetting you that much, that means that it's time for you to let go. For example, let's say that you're a client of a witch and you're getting love work done on somebody. And we know that that takes time. Now, some of y'all do need to be cleansed appropriately because you may have certain entities in you that are causing you to just go nuts. Okay. That's with an exception of that. But if you are feeling this energy inside of you that, if you're working on somebody, a man or a woman, and that man or woman has some issues or some problems, typically it has a lot to do with the way that they were raised. But if you are constantly upset, constantly like I'm talking about to the point where you can't rest, you can't relax, then that could be your consciousness telling you that you need to let it go. Maybe not forever, but maybe for a little while. Maybe you need to let go and do something else until it manifests, or maybe something else manifests. But you got people out there, they threatening to shoot people, they threatening to kill children over people, they're threatening to kill those people's children if you don't talk to me, because I've actually seen women that are obsessed with other women that will go to get work done on them. And they're constantly upset. They're constantly up in arms. They're obsessed with it. They can't do nothing else. They stuck. That's a sign that you need to let that go. Okay. Hey, elder mother. That's a sign that you need to let that go. Who is that in that picture? I see two people either kissing or something. That's a sign you need to let go, especially if it's several years. If you have been doing love work on a person for several years and your health done failed and you're dying or something and you done aged like 30 years and within a 3-year span, that means it's time to let that go. That means that it wasn't meant to be. Because love spells work on people that is meant to be. That's just like if I do a return to you lover spell on you and that lover returns, that means it was meant to be. If the lover don't come back to you, that means it wasn't meant to be. That's what that means. Because if you're upset and you're threatening people, this is one of the reasons why I try not to use in tranquil spirits, if not ever. I hardly ever use the spirits of intranquility to get a lover back. It's not necessary. It can sometimes make things worse. Because if your lover or your ex-lover is already insecure, got a lot of problems that need to be resolved, and in tranquil spirit ain't gonna do nothing but make it worse. And sometimes your lovers will do stuff that is unorthodox, probably because they have a lot of confusion. You're just gonna create more confusion. And if you're truly wise and you understand why that lover did that, you know, love requires a lot of patience and understanding. So if you truly love a person and it's real love, you're not doing the work, but at the same time, you threatening this person, you know, you gonna kill their mama, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't meant to be. Now, if their mother is directly interfering with the relationship, you have to choose and they have to choose to not give that person power. Okay. Even if they're a witch, you can choose that because at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to love work, those things are very complicated. And a lot of people don't understand that. So, for example, what I've seen a lot is women doing love work on other women because they want the woman. And they're causing all kinds of chaos and or they're trying to cause chaos and destruction when in reality they just need to let that woman go. Maybe that woman doesn't want to be with women. And this is happening a lot for some reason. This is actually happening. Okay, which is a huge problem because there's some women that need that peen to keep them sound and balanced. Okay. You can't force a person to be lesbian or gay. You can't do it. And there's some people that are trying to use witchcraft to do that. You can't force a person to be straight with witchcraft, but I would say that it's more likely. Let's just put it like this. Gay and lesbian people, they're special. Let them be special. Don't try to convert other people to be that way. You're special. Go find another special person. Stop trying to make somebody that you're fixated on or obsessed with, you know, feel that for you because you're fighting a losing battle. So we see that a lot to where, you know, women are going to make another woman gay by trying to prove that a man is an asshole. Well, most of them are assholes. Oh, you're definitely gay. Look at this man is an asshole. He's a man. So men can definitely be assholes, can't they? But at the end of the day, even if that man is acting like an asshole, the woman is still not going to be with you. What are you going to do? Chase behind her and turn every man into an asshole? Well, pretty soon she's just going to get used to the assholeness. And we got a lot of that going on. It's a hidden problem. Big facts. And I'm going to tell you something. The universe has been talking about that. I'm not going to get too deep into the conversation about that. But there's a lot of people that if they get their heart broke, they think, I've got to go and be with the same sex now. Without even thinking. Or either encouragement by something else. But in reality, that person needs to take a breather, chill and relax, and think for a second is what they need. Okay, because I can tell you that when a woman is into men, she's not going to change. Okay. And you know that's for the divine feminines out there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people need to stop being in denial about that. A woman says, "Hey, I'm not gay. I want a man," and you just gonna make her gay. You just gonna force her to be gay. No, you're not. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna end this on that note. What I want y'all to take away from this is people that are scamming people on here. They're making false promises to people that they can actually uproot other people, and they're going to change things that the universe along with that person created, and you cannot do it. Stop trying. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. And you can't just use the craft to do that. And then especially when it's coming off as modern day slavery, or that's when spirit really gonna step in and go, this is you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna move nothing that you're trying to do, is what spirit will say. Okay. One other thing I want to say is that if you are a witch that have been on here for years, where and why and how do you all of a sudden feel insecure because a new witch comes on the scene? Why do you feel that way? We're seeing this happen. As soon as a new tarot card reader pops up, you got a whole plight against that tarot reader. Why don't you understand that there is enough and plenty to go around? See, that means whenever you feel like as a spiritualist that somebody can take something from you, or that it's not enough clients to go around, which is totally ridiculous because all of our clients have a connection with us. So if a new witch comes on the scene and she's getting clients and people that are getting readings from her, who are you to interfere with that? We got a lot of them that do that. That means that you're cursed. You got a curse on you. But we see that a lot happening, especially with the melanated community of witches. I was extremely disappointed in some of them, extremely. From what I could see in spirit, it was almost like they were very limited in their beliefs, very, very limited, and they were all fighting over one big juicy steak. And it just made no sense to me. It made no sense. So we got a lot of that going on too. People trying to put spells on people's channel, people trying to put hexes on people, people trying to steal people's energy, people trying. Listen, I can honestly say that I've been a success at my company and I ain't never had to take nothing from nobody. Not once have I had to take away from anybody. And I never have. Yes, elder mother, I'm pregnant with the Holy Spirit. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. Okay, guys, I gotta go. I'll catch y'all later. Blessed be.